a WikiVidi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Eve, rapper. Eve Jihan Jeffers-Cooper is an American rapper and actress from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She is the inaugural winner of the Grammy Award for Best Rap/Sung Collaboration in 2002 for the song "Let Me Blow Your Mind" with American singer Gwen Stefani. Eve was number 48 on VH1's 50 Greatest Women of the Video Era list. As an actress, Eve is known for her roles as Terri Jones in the films Barbershop, Barbershop 2, Back in Business and Barbershop, The Next Cut, as well as Shelley Williams on the UPN television sitcom Eve. She has also achieved success in fashion, with her clothing line, Fetish. As of November 2017, she is a permanent co-host on The Talk. Early life. Eve was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the daughter of Julie Wilch, a publishing company supervisor, and Jerry Jeffers, a chemical plant supervisor. She adopted the nickname, Gangster, in high school as part of an all-female group called DDGP. During her early years in Philadelphia, she was educated at Martin Luther King High School. Mace convinced her to stop stripping and, in the 3rd of May 2018 episode of The Talk, she called herself the laziest stripper ever, and expressed gratitude to him. Eve's first musical interest was singing. She sang in many choirs, and even formed an all-female singing group with a manager. This group covered songs from En Vogue and Color Me Bad. The group's manager suggested that the group should start rapping after seeing ABC, and Eve stuck with it. She then went on to form a rap group. After the group split, Eve began working on a solo career under the name, Eve of Destruction. Eve has lived in Los Angeles, New York City, and most recently has resided in London. In 1999, she was featured on Prince's album Brave Unto the Joy Fantastic, and she was to co-star on the eventually cancelled Hot With You single from that same album. Eve is featured on the song You Got Me by The Roots, from their 1999 album Things Fall Apart. The song won a Grammy Award in 2000, which should have been Eve's first. She stated on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon in 2009 that she did not receive a Grammy for the track. Questlove, from The Roots, had brought his Grammy to the show that night and showed she is not credited on the award plaque. She also provided background vocals on the song Ain't Sayin' Nothin' New, from the same album. In the album's liner notes, she is referred to as Eve of Destruction. 1998-2001, Beginnings and Breakthrough. Eve first appeared on the Bullworth soundtrack as Eve of Destruction while signed to Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment. She did not receive much promotion with big releases soon coming from Dr. Dre, so she collaborated with DMX and the Rough Riders on her first single as a Rough Rider DJ Clue's The Professional, along with other Rough Riders compilations. In between those releases, Eve guest appears on The Roots' fourth album Things Fall Apart with the single, You Got Me. Although she did not appear in the video, her next single, What You Want, featuring Nokia the Entity of Dru Hill, became a top 40 hit on the US Billboard Hot 100, peaking at 29. Her 1999 debut, Let There Be Eve. Rough Riders' First Lady, was an unprecedented success, making it the third album by a female rap artist to top the Billboard 200, behind Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and Foxy Brown's China Doll. Two singles were released from the album, Got a Man, and Love is Blind, featuring Faith Evans. The first one peaked at number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100, the second one at number 34. In November 1999, Eve featured on Missy Elliott's single, Hot Boys, along with Nas, Lil Mo and Q-Tip. The song became a hit, spending 18 weeks at number 1 on the Hot Rap Singles from November 16, 1999 to March 7, 2000, and reaching number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. The follow-up to Rough Riders' First Lady, Scorpion, was released in 2001. Its first single, Who's That Girl, guaranteed the rapper first international success. The second single, Let Me Blow Your Mind, became a pop success, peaking at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song won a Grammy Award for Best Rap/Sung Collaboration, and Eve eventually went platinum. One of the record's strengths, cited in several reviews, was Eve's exploration of her singing voice in addition to her rapping skills. I was a singer before I started rapping, Eve said in a Rough Riders press release, so on this album I wanted my audience to hear more of my vocal skills. 2002, 2012, Eve-Olution and guest singles. Eve's third album, Eve-Olution, was released in summer 2002 and peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200. In the meantime, the album's first single, Gangsta Loving, with Alicia Keys, became another number 2 hit. The second and final single, Satisfaction, only saw moderate success again. Eve-Olution went gold, selling 720,000 copies total in the US. Eve also appeared on the remixed version of Michael Jackson's Butterflies. She also launched a clothing line in the fall of 2003 titled Fetish, which were targeted towards female consumers of the urban demographic. The line lasted 6 years. In 2005, the rapper appeared on Gwen Stefani's cover version of Lucilu and Mitchie One song, Rich Girl, which peaked at number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 in March. The same year, she appeared on the official remix of Ameri's number 1 US R&B hit, One Thing. Eve also was featured in Keisha Cole's single, Never, on the Barbershop 2, Back in Business soundtrack and Cole's debut album The Way It Is, along with the official remix for Tierra Mari's second single, No Daddy. In 2007, she appeared on Kelly Rowland's single, Like This. The punk cabaret band One on None covered Eve's 1999 song, Love is Blind. In July 2007, Eve made a guest appearance on Maroon 5's second single Wake Up Call on Live at 45th at Night. It is unknown if this will be an official remix, or if it will even be recorded. In late 2008, she sang the song, Set It on Fire, which was featured on the credits for the movie Transporter 3, and is available on the Transporter 3 soundtrack. In April 2009, Eve featured along with Lil Jon on the song, Patron Tequila, the debut single of girl group Paradiso Girls. In March 2010, Eve featured on the official remix of Ludacris' song, My Chick Bad. Diamond and Trina are also featured in the song. The 3 female rappers starred in the video for the remix, in which Nicki Minaj also appears. In November 2010, Eve wrote and performed a rap on Australian singer Guy Sebastian's single, Who's That Girl?, which reached number 1 on the ARIA singles chart and has been certified 4x platinum sold. In December 2010, Eve featured on Alicia Keys' track, Speechless. Though the song will not be released as a single or part of an album, it did chart on the US R&B chart at number 71, making it Eve's first appearance as a featured artist on the Billboard charts for quite some time. On December 10, 2010, Eve hosted the 2010 edition of MTV Africa Music Awards in Lagos, Nigeria. In March 2011, Eve featured on Swizz Beatz' song and video, Every Day, the first promotional single from his upcoming album Moat Living. In April 2011, Eve featured on Jill Scott's song, Shame, from Scott's Billboard 200 number 1 album The Light of the Sun. The same month, Eve featured on Russian rapper Timati's new single and video, Money in the Bank. Eve also featured in Get Em, a song by electro house artist Wolfgang Gartner. In April 2012, Eve featured on reggae artist Shaggy's single, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun. The song samples the 1979 hit single by Cyndi Lauper. Eve appeared on the video of the song, released on YouTube on June 14, 2012. The song charted in some European countries. 2013 present, lip lock and upcoming album. In 2007, Eve began work on a new album titled Here I Am. In May 2007, XXL magazine profiled 6 recorded tracks from Here I Am. 5 of them were produced by Swizz Beatz, including singles, Tambourine, and Give It To You. Pharrell Williams produced the song, All Night Long, in which Eve sings rather than raps. XXL published a review of the original Here I Am in July, rating it an L in its clothing size rating system ranging from S to XXL. However, the album ran into a series of delays due to corporate change at the record label, and discontent with the lackluster success of the first and second singles, Tambourine, released in April 2007, and Give It To You, released during the summer. The project was delayed to September 11, 2007 and then October 16, but it was never released. Problems at her label, Interscope Records, were responsible for the multiple delays. Although being renamed twice from Here I Am to Flirt to Lip Lock after Eve left Interscope and signed with EMI, Lip Lock was expected to be released during 2011, but it was again delayed. In 2012, Eve decided to release the album as an independent artist, and stated that there will be several buzz singles before the official single, and said the album will have hard street stuff, radio singles and stuff to listen to when you're feeling down. In an interview on Billboard.com, Eve said, "One of the biggest things that I wanted to do on this album was make people realize why they fell in love with me in the first place and then take them on a journey to where I am now musically. My era is different, but I think people will recognize me. I think you'll hear that I'm in a happy place. I miss my music. My hunger is different than the first time around." The album Lip Lock was released under Eve's own label from the Rib Music on May 14, 2013. It was distributed through Sony/Red. On October 9, 2012, Eve released the promotional single, She Bad Bad, on iTunes. On November 2012, Eve started on YouTube a series of weekly remixes called Eve-Olution Tuesdays, in which she added freestyle rap verses on 2012 hit singles like Rihanna's Diamonds and Miguel's Adorn. On January 8, 2013, the video of She Bad Bad was premiered. On January 23, Eve released an official remix of She Bad Bad, featuring Juicy J and Pusha T. On February 23, 2013, Eve released Make It Out This Town, the first official single from Lip Lock featuring Gabe Saporto of Cobra Starship. The music video of the song premiered on Vivo on March 29, 2013. In an interview on Wrap Up TV, Eve confirmed that the second official single would be the track, Eve, featuring Jamaican reggae artist Miss Kitty. The music video for the song was shot in London in February and premiered on BET on April 29, 2013. Lip Lock was released on May 14, 2013. The album features collaborations with Juicy J, Dawn Richards, Claude Kelly, Pusha T, Chrisette Michele, Nacho, Gabe Saporto, Propane, Missy Elliott, and Snoop Dogg. On August 23, 2013, Eve kicked off the Lip Lock Tour, a US-only promotional tour. In September 2013, Eve stated in an interview with Wrap Up that after her tour wraps up in NYC, she's going back into the studio. In June 2014, it was announced that Eve would make a guest appearance on the Oxygen docuseries Sisterhood of Hip Hop. In April 2016, it was announced that Eve would join Gwen Stefani on her This Is What the Truth Feels Like tour. In November 2017, Eve joined the talk as a permanent co-host, replacing Aisha Tyler, who left to pursue her directing career. On May 7, 2018, at the George Lopez Celebrity Golf Tournament, Eve's co-host on the talk, Cheryl Underwood, revealed that Eve is working on new music and will be performing a song from the album on the talk at an undisclosed date. Acting career. Eve appeared in 30 with Vin Diesel, all 3 Barbershop films with Ice Cube, The Cookout with Queen Latifah and Megan Good, and The Woodsman with Kevin Bacon in mid-2004. She voiced Major Jones in the video game 13, as well as one of the villains of the short-lived show Spider-Man animated series on MTV. She also featured in the 2008 British movie Flashbacks of a Fool alongside Daniel Craig. In 2003, Eve starred in the UPN television sitcom, Eve, as a fashion designer named Shelley. The show lasted 3 seasons until it was cancelled in May 2006. Eve guest starred as Yvette Powell on an episode of Third Watch. She also was a guest star on an episode of Numbers in 2009. In 2009, she had a role in the film Whip It as Rosa Sparks, opposite Ellen Page and Drew Barrymore. Eve guest starred on 2 episodes of Glee, appearing as rival Glee Club coach Grace Hitchens. In 2010, Eve appeared as Letitia, a supporting role, in Noel Clarke's film 4.3.2.1. Eve appears as Mocha Sujata the Gypsy Queen in the 2013 film Bounty Killer, starring Matthew Marsden and Christian Petra. The film was directed by Henry Sane. Eve will be in the horror film Animal, which was filmed in Manchester, Connecticut and is currently in post-production. Produced by Drew Barrymore, the film co-stars Elizabeth Gillies and Keke Palmer, and is scheduled for a limited release in 2014. In July 2014, it was announced that Eve would be starring alongside fellow entertainer Jill Scott as well as actress Regina Hall in a Lifetime movie about 3 women who become determined to get married in a year's time after the group's 4th member ties the knot. On November 14, 2017, Eve was announced as a new co-host on the CBS daytime show The Talk. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?